cast mine from my iPhone onto my TV. So I'm watching it on the big TV, which is really fun too.
That's,
Sound is terrific.
yeah, it's so good. And you think about it, people are paying fees to have exercise online classes, or our entertainment and our way of connecting has shifted. So it makes sense that we would purchase
Of
entertainment
course.
this way now too, right?
Well, and the Windsor Symphony Orchestra is such an important part of the fabric of our community. We all would have hated to see anything happen to this orchestra. And in lieu of being able to have live audience in our hall, this is what we knew that we could do to stay alive, to stay relevant, to stay connected in the community.
Yeah. And what do you feel your role is for the community? Because I mean, you're preaching to the choir with me, but if you're kind of making your sales pitch, what do you feel your role is, and why we should continue to support?
So there are a couple of things. I think one, that when you have musicians that are at the quality of the WSO that come to Windsor, many live in Windsor, some live, in Greater Toronto area throughout Ontario. But when you have musicians of that quality who are coming to town on a weekly basis to perform some of the most incredible music ever written at the highest level you could possibly imagine, well, that makes it a very special event. So there's that. Two is that, music is really something that anybody with no matter what your background is, you can connect with, and you can connect with other people as they connect with it. And so there's this communal aspect to it.
Yeah.
As you know, we also have a really strong desire at the Windsor Symphony Orchestra to help build concert lovers and music lovers of all ages. And so we bring music to people of a younger age who are playing instruments, or maybe not playing instruments, but definitely playing instruments, to help them sort of come along and see the world that's available to them. I have to say, as a conductor and as a musician, there have been so many aspects of the world that have become open to me because of a certain composer, or a certain piece of music, or a certain style of music that I didn't know about. And as I learn about it, I learn about a different culture, a different way of being.
Yeah.
Um, we also have a lot of composers over the years who are from different cultures. And so I get to experience different cultures on the stage here or out in the community when we perform. So really, music is a vehicle for connecting in the community. And when you have musicians like we do at the Windsor Symphony that can literally perform one or two different programs every week, just put new music up, prepare it, and get it out the door, then all of a sudden we have hundreds of concerts each year that we can share in the community.
Yeah, and there's growing research around the idea that music and the art of being creative is so important for handling stress, especially during this pandemic. I was reading an
Absolutely.
article this week about all this latent anxiety we're carrying around because there's so much uncertainty. And
Yep.
one of the remedies, so to speak, to survive this weird time was having a
Yep.
creative outlet, either consuming something that's creative and allowing yourself to enjoy music, or to create or paint or take photographs or put an album
Sure.
together, but that creative release taps into our humanity and helps release a lot of that stress we're kind of holding on to when everything's upside down and inside out.
You
So
know,
like you're a great vehicle for that.
well, I can't agree with you more. And what's interesting is that I think, and I'm this way too, so I totally can relate to this, that, the world really is sort of black and white in some ways, right? Like you think, okay, it's this is going to happen or that's going to happen. But what music does, art in general, but music specifically, is it allows us to explore the gray area in between. And that's really where we are right now. As
Yeah.
terrible as it seems with COVID-19, I have to say that I feel more like we're in a waiting period, a gray area, than we are at
Yeah.
one end or the other. And, yes, when you're playing an instrument and when you conduct an orchestra, there are certain things that have to be right and they have to be correct.
Yeah.
But that's just the beginning with music. And with music, what happens is that once you're correct with the notes and the music, then you start to discover the meaning behind it. And that's where all the shades of gray occur. And that's where the art is. And that's where, when we can tap into that, it can really change how we view the world and how we think